It was 2015. I was just 13 years old, living with my parents and siblings in an apartment building. It wasn't a great place to stay. The neighbors were loud. Kids would scream and play in the hallways, and the whole place felt chaotic. Still, I managed to enjoy my time with my siblings. We laughed, played, and tried to make the best of things. Then one day, everything changed. My aunt, who usually stayed with us to help look after me and my siblings, decided to take a vacation to the Philippines. She wanted to visit my cousin and other relatives. My parents asked if we'd be okay staying alone while they were at work. I reassured them that we'd be fine. One afternoon, my siblings and I were sitting in the living room watching TV. Suddenly, we heard a knocking sound coming from the kitchen. We froze. At first, we thought it might just be something normal. Maybe a neighbor, maybe the wind. But curiosity got the better of us, so we went to check. The kitchen was empty. Everything was in its place. Feeling uneasy, we decided to leave the kitchen lights on and went back to the living room. About 2 hours later, I told my sibling that I was going to the bathroom to wash my face. After finishing up, I went to my room to grab a towel. As I was drying my face and heading back to the living room, something caught my eye. Something that made my blood run cold. A white, shadowy figure. It was a woman, gliding silently past me and heading into my parents' room. I froze, watching as she seemed to fade into the wall. My heart was pounding as I turned on the lights and rushed to check the room. It was empty. Nothing was there. I ran back to my sibling and told her what I'd seen. She tried to reassure me, saying, "Maybe it's just your imagination. Maybe you've been watching too many scary movies." I wanted to believe her. I told myself it was just my mind playing tricks on me. That night, my parents came home, and we all sat down for dinner. My sibling and I shared what had happened, but my dad brushed it off. "You've been watching too many dark movies," he said. "That's why you're seeing things." I wanted to believe him, but deep down, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. Later that night, around 2 a.m., I woke up to the sound of laughter. At first, I thought I was dreaming, but then I heard crying, soft, eerie sobs, and someone screaming. The noises were coming from above my room. I lay there frozen, too scared to call for my parents. The sounds continued for an hour before stopping abruptly. The next day, I told my parents again. My dad still didn't believe me, but my sibling did. She suggested we try to record the sounds as proof. Later that evening, while I was in the kitchen making a cup of milk, my sibling came out of the bathroom, her face pale with fear. I asked her what was wrong, and she said, "While I was showering, I looked in the mirror, and there was a lady standing behind me." That was it. We told our mom, and this time, my dad decided it was time to leave. We packed up and went to the Philippines to stay with relatives for a while. When we finally returned to Kuwait, my aunt came back with us, but my dad had asked our uncle to stay in the apartment while we were gone. When we arrived, my uncle told us something chilling. "Your apartment is haunted," he said. He'd heard the same strange noises and experienced eerie moments of his own. That's when we decided to bless the apartment. After the blessing, the sightings stopped. The shadowy lady never appeared again. But the sounds, the noises never fully went away. It happened one night while I was sitting in the living room, watching TV. My little sister, who was only 3 at the time, suddenly came out of her room. I didn't notice anything strange. I was focused on the TV. But then, as she walked closer, something felt off. I hadn't really registered it at first, but she looked like she was in black and white. She was wearing this really pretty old-fashioned dress, something I'd never seen before. She looked up at me and said, "My name, come on." I have something to show you. Follow me. I didn't think twice about it, so I got up and followed her. She walked toward her room, and that's when something weird hit me. The light in her room was off. It was pitch black. Now, this might not sound strange, but my sister is absolutely terrified of the dark. She never goes into her room without turning on the light first. I hesitated for a moment, but then I reached over and turned on the light. The room lit up, but it was empty. I stood there staring into the room, my heart pounding. Confused, I called out her name. That's when I heard her voice, but it wasn't coming from the room in front of me. It was behind me. "Yeah?" she answered. I spun around, and there she was, standing in my brother's room, looking completely normal. I froze. My mind was racing. I turned back to look at her room, the one I had just seen her walk into. But it was empty. Completely empty. I didn't know what to do, so I just walked back to the couch and sat down, my hands trembling and my heart racing. I kept replaying the moment in my head. Who or what did I follow into that room? Even now, I get chills thinking about it. I was 14. It was an average night, around 9 p.m. I and my little cousin were at his house. I was babysitting for the night while my mom and aunt were shopping, and my dad and uncle were at the movie theater. So we were sitting there, and I was feeling really strange. Something was wrong, but I couldn't put my finger on it. So I just kept watching TV with my cousin. The feeling wasn't going away, so I got up and walked to the back door to lock it. When I came back through the kitchen, I saw what was causing my weird feeling. In the window there was a very decrepit and homeless-looking man, just staring into the window, looking at my cousin. Protective mode turned on. I pretended like I didn't see the guy, and I told my little cousin that we needed to go upstairs because our parents would be home soon, and they wouldn't want him to stay up late. So I went upstairs and put him to bed, knowing damn well that there was a man outside that wanted in. I was about 125 pounds and 5 feet 8 inches at the time, and played football for my school. If I remember correctly, I went downstairs straight into the kitchen and grabbed one of those meat tenderizing hammers, turned back to the window where I saw him before. Not there. Ran back to the front door and checked that it was locked. Both the deadbolt and the knob were locked. Ran back upstairs with my meat tenderizer, went into my cousin's room and sat down in front of the door. He asked me what I was doing, and I said that he didn't need to worry about it, and that he should keep his head low. Called the cops, and then my dad and uncle. Cops would take half an hour, and my dad and uncle were 45 minutes away. Then I hear a window shatter, and the sound of heavy boots walking around on the main floor. I told my cousin to stay calm, hide under the covers, and keep silent. I could hear the guy walking around downstairs. It was horrifying. I gripped that damn meat tenderizer and waited. About 5 minutes pass, and then I heard the boots walking upstairs. At this point, I was having a freaking heart attack. My cousin's door is no more than 10 feet from the stairs. I heard him opening the doors to my aunt and uncle's room, then the bathroom. He walked back downstairs, and I heard him open the door to the basement. 15 minutes later, the police showed up and burst into the house. Turned out the guy was loose from a mental hospital 1 province away.